So this one, well, first of all, hello. This one, I I had done some other crustacean, isopod terrestrial crustaceans. What was it like? I'm not going to remember the scientific name, but a wharf roach, basically, which is it is a isopod, a terrestrial isopod, a terrestrial crustacean, and they're related to these guys, which are commonly known as like pill bugs, tomato bugs, potato bugs, whatever, roly polies. I read this article at my brother's house and ended up reading just about every single reference material and more because I wanted to learn a little more about it, which I'll hopefully remember to talk about after I read this. This is a short article, um, and I ended up reading all the extra stuff because here where I'm from, we've got a lot of another thing that people have different names for. I call them camel crickets. I've heard them also called spider crickets or portmanteau crickets or whatever. I forget their scientific name, but there's something that's just like ubiquitous in this area. Anyone on, I guess, the East Coast, I don't remember actually the range, but like everyone knows what these camel crickets look like. So I wanted to learn more about them, and I found that it's actually a little hard to find information on them. So I was wondering if like I could find information on these guys here that I've got up, the roly polies. Um, and turns out it is a little difficult to find. Well, at least it's yeah. The gosh darn Wikipedia article is not extensive. I did find some extensive scientific publications, not within the references here. These are honestly kind of vapid, honestly. Matter of fact, this reference here is a website to buy pill bugs because apparently it's like a hobby buying pill bugs. So, whatever. But, kind of interesting. Anyway, let me just get into this already. I've talked enough with no rain here. I believe it's pronounced Armadillidium. Armdillidium vulgare. I don't know actually if it's vulgare. I don't know. But Armidillidium vulgare, the common pill bug, potato bug, common pill woodlouse, roly-poly, slater, doodlebug, or carpenter, is a widespread European species of woodlouse. It is most extensively investigated. It is the most extensively investigated terrestrial isopod species. And for whatever it's worth, um, people also call it a tomato bug here in the U.S. Somewhere I did find, I don't remember. I thought it was on this article. Somewhere there was an extensive list of different names um, in different countries, but maybe I'll find that in a minute. Description: Armadillidium vulgare may reach a length of 18 millimeters, which is just shy of an inch, and is capable of rolling into a ball when disturbed. This ability, along with its general appearance, gives it the name pillbug, and also creates the potential for confusion with pill millipedes, such as Glomerus marginata. It can be distinguished from Armadillidium nassatum and Armadillidium depressum. Nassatum, depressum sounds like nausea and depression. I don't know. By the gap that A nassatum and A depressum leave when rolling into a ball. A vulgare does not leave such a gap, which there was a picture of that somewhere. I don't recall exactly where I saw it, but if you just look at, I guess, the anacetum, they do have a tiny gap when they roll into a ball. It's not perfect, um, and I do suppose then that they also have little antennae, as you can see. I suppose. Well, I guess these guys have antennae too. Anyway, these guys apparently don't have a little gap when they roll into a ball. I wonder if we get any better picture here. No, not really. They were both from England, though. If you see, Depressum has population in the west of the UK here. I don't remember my UK regions. I tried to study that at some place. It's like the Yorkshire here. I forget. while the other one, Nocetum, was found on the eastern part there. Cool, cool, cool. Ecology. Armdillidium vulgare is able to withstand drier conditions than many other woodlouse species. Sorry, are able to withstand drier conditions than many other woodlouse species, and is restricted to calcareous soils or coastal areas. It feeds chiefly on decaying plant matter, but also grazes lichens, and algae from tree bark and walls. It is able to regulate its temperature through its behavior, preferring bright sunshine when temperatures are low, but remaining in shadow when temperatures are high. Temperatures below -2 degrees Celsius, or 28 degrees Fahrenheit for the incorrect people, or above 36 Celsius, 97 Fahrenheit, are lethal to it. So it'll die below below -2 Celsius and above 36 Celsius. A. vulgare is less susceptible to cold during the night and may enter a state of dormancy during the winter in order to survive temperatures that would otherwise be lethal. Distribution. The native distribution of A. vulgare ranges across Europe, especially in the Mediterranean basin. In the United Kingdom, A. vulgare is very common in southern and eastern England, but is more confined to coastal areas in the north. I apologize. My dog just, after a long slumber, decided that when I start reading, it means it's time to go outside. Um, so it's gonna probably be distracting me for a second. It is more confined to coastal areas in the north of England. Similarly, in Ireland, A. vulgare is common in the south and east, but rarer in the north and west. A. vulgare has also been introduced to many locations in North America where it may reach population densities of up to 10,000 individuals per square meter. That is 900 per square foot. It is now one of the most abundant invertebrate species in California coastal grassland habitats. It has also been introduced to a lesser extent to sites across the world. Relationship with humans. Because of their unusual yet non-threatening appearance, some Armdillidium vulgare are kept as pets in areas throughout the world. Different lineages are bred, usually in regards to color, in order to provide stock to hobbyists. One supposed variation, Punta Cana, is often referred to as Armdillidium sordidum, while others insist it is a variety of A. vulgare. Keeping a pet pillbug, not a pet pilgrim, requires a very moist habitat with limited light and abundant decaying botanical matter. They can often live up to 3 years. Among non-hobbyist adults, they are often seen as unwanted, but essentially harmless, home pests. Mitochondrial genome. Most metazoans have circular mitochondrial genomes, but A. vulgare has an unusual combination of both circular and linear mitochondrial DNA. I'm sure that means a lot more to somebody that knows about genomes and all. We got some pictures here to look at. There's one of them. They are very fascinating to look up at close. Like I've done a stupid amount of well, I shouldn't even say stupid amount of research, but I've been reading about them for a little bit of the day, and they are quite fascinating when you really get down to it. I guess I'll see if I can pull up another article. Um, but yeah, like all of these are fascinating enough. Some of them are a little sparse with information, but like, hey, you can buy them there. What I wanted to look at. Oh, right. I was interested in how they breathe because on the decapod anatomy video, I had read that some pleopods, which are the legs of decapods, sometimes they have little like cilia on them, which in the sea roach, the wharf roach, those help to very quickly move water like throughout the body of the little critter there because apparently they need to live in a damp habitat, otherwise I guess they'll dry out, or at least they'll not be happy, probably die. So they need damp environments, but they can't have wet because that'll also drown them. I actually am not certain. But the sea roach, um, or wharf rather, they uh, they have there was a really interesting read at the bottom reference section of that. If this will load, I don't know if it'll load. Um, Basically, it said it was a. I think I did read the article on. I think I recorded reading it, but it said that like it has a super effective water transport system where it seems like water will just like touch one of their legs, and these cilia will like make that water quickly spread throughout their whole body to keep them completely moist. This is not loading at all. So I looked into how these guys breathe then because those pleopods. Thanks for telling me that it's not loading. I already know that. Um, the article about decapodal anatomy was saying that some of these pleopods, while some transport water, others actually have gills on the legs. So I wanted to see if these guys had something like that. As it turns out, they don't exactly have gills on their legs, but terrestrial isopods um, do have gills. They don't have lungs. So these guys, the pill bugs, which I grew up calling them tomato bugs. Pardon me, I'm burping a little bit. They, what was I about to say? I got distracted because my doggy looking at me. Armdillidium. They the legs, the pleopods. Yeah, they have gills, which means they do not breathe air like we do. I am not fully certain the whole breakdown of how things work for them. Oh, I was on this article earlier. Armdillidae. Yeah, look at those guys. This is one unraveling. Like just I don't know, pause the video or like pull up this article and take time to like really look at these creatures. They are so fascinating. This is the Armdillidium article. I might as well read this real quick. Armdillidium is a genus of small terrestrial crustacean known as the woodlouse. Armadillidium are also commonly known as pill woodlice, leg pebbles, pill bugs, roly-poly, or potato bugs, and are often confused with pill millipedes. We already heard that. They are characterized by their ability to roll into a ball, volvation, when disturbed. That, I'm sure, is another cool article. Defensive behavior rolls into a ball. Distribution and habitat, and this is Armadillidium in general. They typically feed on moss, algae, bark, and other decaying organic matter. They are usually found in moist areas such as decomposing leaf matter and soil. Armadillidium vulgare is the most abundant species in Europe and has been introduced worldwide. However, the vast majority of the species are endemic to small regions close to the Mediterranean Sea in much lower numbers than common species, endemic to small regions close to the Mediterranean Sea, in much lower numbers than common species such as A. vulgare, and hence are understudied. Unlike other terrestrial arthropods, such as insects and spiders, pillbugs do not have a waxy cuticle that would reduce evaporation from their bodies. Pillbugs also use modified lungs called pseudotrachea for respiration. Oh, what was I reading earlier? That completely contradicts. Okay, well, hey, we're learning here together. I was going to pull up that other article. I still probably will. It's a publication from like the 20s or something. Um, Pillbugs use modified lungs called pseudotrachea for respiration, and the lungs must remain moist to function. Okay, that's agreeing again with what I had read. Individual pillbugs typically live for 2 or 3 years, and females brood eggs once or twice each summer. Several hundred eggs are brooded at a time in the marsupium, a pocket on the ventral, that's under, side of the female pillbug. The marsupium must also be kept filled with water until the young hatch and crawl away. The coloration, especially of a young A. klugi, resembles the red hourglass marking of the Mediterranean black widow, Letrodacus tridecimegutis. Whoa, okay. Yeah, that's a spider you stay away from. But hey, they do resemble. This is probably a kind of mimicry to ward off predators that mistake the harmless animal for a venomous spider. There are 189 recognized species in the genus Armadillidium. And another reference article I had pulled up was a PDF that just had like alphabetical order names of all different kinds of Armdillidium and I think other terrestrial um, isopods, and it was extensive. Here's a Armdillidium depressum, Armdillidium granulatum, which got nice yellow on its back. Man, they look so wild when you like really zoom in on them. This looks either it's another species or it's a juvenile Armdillidium because they are white when they are chillins. The Pulchellum, a vulgare, we know that. Asatum, Nocitum, I don't know. They are just, oh, I did not get to all of them. Macro shot. Oh, look at that. Handsome man. Does his mama know he's posting pictures like this? Of course, maybe an entomologist would come over here and say, nope, that's a female. But I think the main way to tell is in the lower part of the cephalothorax, where you can see if they have gonads or not. But I don't know. They look so big here. I thought that they were only supposed to get like between 8 and 18 millimeters. Well, there are so many different kinds. Let me see if I can. I was on a different computer when I was reading about these earlier today, so I don't have anything in purple other than things that I've clicked on here. But none of these sound like the ones that I was looking at. Darn it. I really wish I could find it easily. Oh, here's something interesting that I've noticed. Um, so in one of those articles, I think the one about vulgare in particular, it kept saying that like while from Europe they've been introduced to a number of places. To the best of my further reading, sorry, I'm kind of throwing a ball. I'm not throwing a dog. I'm throwing a ball for a dog. To the best of my further reading, it sounds like they were endemic to Europe at one point, but have since spread to like basically the whole globe. It seems like, and especially populous in the United States. Or maybe I'm just writing that in anecdotally. I don't know, but they are certainly populous in the United States. I have not seen them described as invasive because it seems like they only really do good things for the environments that they're in. Like there was some study that showed an increase. Hi, dog. I know that you want attention. I'm sorry. I'm not a dog person. I'm not a pet person. It's my roommate's dog. They are away, and I have to take care of it. But yeah, like some article was talking about or study was talking about how um, environments where there are an increased presence of them always shows like positive ecological growth and all different kinds of fascinating stuff. So they're while they are not shoot darn I want to be able to find the articles because I'm just remembering one of them said that it was only introduced in the United States through New England in like the mid 1800s, which that's just crazy. I so like in you know some 150 years, well, that's like nearly 200 years almost. They have, scattered to all of where we see them here in the U.S. I really wish I could find that to like double check all this stuff so that I don't misinform. I was reading something by um, who is it? Like University of Florida. Okay, they okay. Here's another thing that says they breathe with gills. That one article is saying that they uh they breathe through lungs. I think this is no, this is not the same thing, but yeah, this is closer to the information I was reading earlier. Um, that they do breathe through gills, but it's not like being a fish in water. Um, you don't have like water completely in it. It's like they just kind of pick up little droplets of water as they go in their damp environment and kind of soak that in. Um, let's see. Yeah, since they're related to lobsters, crabs, and shrimp, isopods breathe with gills and require a humid environment. So this sounds like it's for people to have them as a hobby. And look, that one's not closing up fully, so it must be a nasodum or a depressum. Okay, let me see. There was an article, oh, sorry, paper. How do they breathe? Let me see if I can find this real quick. Oh, I had been on here, Alabama Wildlife Federation. Um, they get about that size. Why does this look different? I was on a different operating system earlier, but I don't think that should change stuff too much. Darn, where's that really cool paper I was reading earlier? I really want to find this. It was super extensive. It was like a 40 something page um, publication from a long time ago. Pleopodal lungs. Maybe it was under there. Yes. Here we are. This is it. Pleopodal lungs are an anatomical feature of terrestrial isopods and a component of their respiratory system. They are ancestrally derived from pleopodal gills, and they facilitate gas exchange on land. They perform a similar function as spiracles, don't know, do in insects. Pleopodal lungs are identifiable on woodlice as white patches on the lower five segments, the pleon, on the ventral side, underside. The number of pleopodal lungs vary by species. They may have up to 5 pairs or only 2 pairs, as in Porcellio A minority of species lack pleopodal lungs entirely. So that's reminding me. I just get so distracted when I start rambling. Um, but I think I missed saying earlier that what initially brought me here is I was at a grocery store and I saw, like, the shrimp in the seafood section, and they had their legs still on them, and I was like, don't some shrimp, maybe if they're the right species, I don't remember, don't quote me, don't they like breathe through their legs because they have these pleopodal lungs? And so I did a little more research to kind of try to verify. I don't think I ever actually verified for the shrimp, but that brought me here. And this guy, Ernest Ewart Unwin, he from the Proceedings at the Royal Society of Tasmania. Yes, this is the right one. He has this lovely, lovely publication that goes over so many different terrestrial isopods, like just one after another. We even have somewhere down here, somewhere far, the sea. Sorry, I keep calling it sea roach. The wharf roach. Let me see if I can find it. It doesn't matter if I can find that. Truth be told. Um, but if anyone wants to read more about this stuff from the 30s, I don't know in the world of entomology how older science holds up to new, but I'm sure if you can go on um, whatever science publication you like, you might be able to find who has uh, referenced this in their papers, and then, like, draw. Oh, there's Armdillidium vulgare. Draw your own conclusions from more modern papers built upon this one. But it seems like this guy did a ton of really foundational study on these guys. From the early methods that I read at the top of the paper, oh, here we are, Ligia oceanica. That is the wharf roach. Um, he's got just drawings. These are figures of like the whole Pleopodal region where the lungs might be. He gives a really good general overview of everything in the introduction section. Um, Around here, what does he call them? Endopodites. He has like little endopodite equals yada da 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 exopodite. I forget all the little things, and I don't know. Maybe I'll reread it to try to learn. Yeah, the gill is the exopodite. The hypoderm is the epithelium. If that means anything to you, there's a lot of really obscure, really cool information in here. Um, what I was going to say about the methods, though, is what it seemed like he was saying, which, again, I did not fine comb through this thing. What it seemed like he was saying in his way of determining like how they breathe and where exactly they are grabbing oxygen from, it sounds like he would just cover different parts of their body in Vaseline and see if they suffocate, which is like, okay. Um, so like he somewhere in here it says that he like covered their whole abdomen surface with Vaseline, and like they basically be able to live without any new oxygen for like 2.5 days. So that just goes to show that their, I guess, circulatory system runs pretty slowly. You know, they very gradually bring oxygen into the bloodstream, and you know, they're not going taking a deep breath like we are. They're just like um, yeah, kind of getting oxygen as they go. Um, and then he was able to like, I don't know, put Vaseline on certain parts of their body, see if there's like, I don't know, more effectiveness or whatever. Really interesting stuff. I'm not going to read all of this. I may not legally be allowed to. I don't know how it works with academic publications and copyright laws, intellectual property. Um, but this is free to access. You don't need any kind of permission or to buy it. I'm sorry, I'm trying to talk fast and think fast because I have a dog that is staring at me while waiting by the door and starting to whine. She needs to go out. So anyway, read this article. It's a lot of fun. Or this I keep calling it an article. This publication on the structure of the respiratory organs of the terrestrial Isopoda by Ernest E. Unwin. I gotta go. Bye.